my dad a few weeks ago. I'm in my 30s and I live with my mother, Karen. Before that, I've always felt detached from my native side, and I didn't really know what to think of it. I've always liked computers since I was young, and right now I'm ranked 435 on my favorite video game, League of Legends. Someday, I bet our computers will be smarter than us, and that we'll have to merge with them. Before I got shot, I had a job working for Blue at the powwow. Working at the powwow was important to me because I finally met my father, Harvey, so I guess I could learn a lot from my Cheyenne side from him.
Hi, my name is Harvey, and I'm from the Cheyenne tribe out of Oklahoma. I've been sober since 1982, but before that, I've been a heavy drinker. I think part of it was because my dad was abusive to me when I was younger. I just found out that I was a son named Edwin Black. He tricked me on Facebook, at first telling me that he was his mom, Karen. I haven't seen Karen in a long time, but I agreed to meet Edwin at the big opening powwow because he was setting up, and I'm emceeing it. I thought it was never too late to meet your kid, and I think he should meet his dad, who has been absent for all of his life. Then I also saw a person who I haven't seen since we were at Alcatraz when we were younger, Jackie Redfeather. Apparently I also had a daughter with her. I found this out at an Alcoholic Anonymous meeting, and I think I should reconcile with all my relationships that I have done wrong in my past lives.
Hi, my name is Orville Redfeather, and I'm Cheyenne. I'm 14 years old and live with my brothers, Luther and Lonnie, and Grandma, Opal. She's not technically our grandma, but Indian way she is. I didn't even know I was Indian until a CPS worker told me, but ever since then, I've wanted to learn more. Even though Opal thinks we shouldn't do anything Indian until we're older, I've tried to learn about being Indian virtually, through powwow footage, YouTube documentaries, and sites like Wikipedia, powwow.com, and Indian Country Today. I've wanted to be a powwow dancer since I first saw a dancer on TV. Sometimes I feel like a pretendian, like I read about on urbandictionary.com, because I don't really know anything about being Indian, but powwow dancing makes me feel like a part of something fun, yet also full of history.
Hi, my name is Jackie Redfeather. I am a substance abuse counselor and am Cheyenne. I have a sister, 3 grandkids, and 2 daughters. I think substance abuse is one of the biggest challenges facing Indigenous people today. I became a counselor to help other people because I wanted to keep people from experiencing what I had. It's been hard, I'm not gonna lie. My family and I lived in Alcatraz during the occupation when I was a teenager, and I guess that's where it all started. That and seeing my mom with her different boyfriends. A lot of bad things came out of that place. I got pregnant and gave up the baby. I started drinking. Later, I had another daughter, Jamie, but she killed herself, and I went even harder on the bottle after that. I do struggle a lot to heal and find a cultural identity, but for now, I'm just trying to stay sober one day at a time.
Hi, I'm Maggie Eaglebear, and I am part of the Lakota tribe. I'm from Indianapolis, 5th Street, and I'm also a school teacher for the only school on the reservation, and I would like to think of myself as an activist. When I was young, I ended up leaving the reservation to go to Dartmouth for 4 years, but eventually I came back to the reservation to try and help my people, and I then became a mother to multiple children, and I also take care of grandma. I try to help my people through education reforms and health reforms, such as I gathered water samples to show that the government was poisoning my people for testing for uranium, and thus the uranium seeped into our water supply. And I learned from early on to not trust the FBI because I learned from personal experience that they tend to assert their authority without fixing anything and then leaving the reservation in utter destruction. Eventually I was killed by the FBI for trying to expose them for the uranium testing, and now I'm dead.
Being an Indigenous American is a huge part of my identity.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I was killed on the reservation, and I think being American is Native American is a huge part of my identity because, I went to Dartmouth and I left the reservation, which statistically is a very hard thing to leave the reservation. And then I came back to try more successful career, that I chose like my Native American identity to like help others. Yeah.
I'm Orville Redfeather, and I definitely think being Native American is a big part of my identity. Even though Opal says that we shouldn't really do anything Indian until we're older, I just kind of like sneak in and try wearing Indian regalia, and I love to powwow dance and be a part of something bigger than myself.
If you disagree, please explain why.
I wouldn't say it's a huge part of my identity. When I was little, my mom, sister, and I participated in the Alcatraz occupation. And that was one point in my life where I was really proud to be Native, but then as that turned south, my identity wasn't really defined by it so much. And then for the rest of my life, it's been a part of me, but it hasn't been at the forefront of my life.
Hi, I'm Edwin, and until I met my dad, I've always kind of been detached from Native culture. While I was getting my master's degree in literature, I always used to wonder, why am I not a part of any of these tribes? Why do I not know what tribe I'm a part of? And I guess until I kind of met my dad, Harvey, I always battled with myself whether I was Native enough or not.
Hello, I'm Dad Harvey. I also participated in the Alcatraz occupation, but that was probably the last time I remember. Now I MC powwows, and I think that's the only part that I feel connected to my culture.
Substance abuse is an epidemic in the indigenous community.
I think for me it definitely has been. I've struggled with substance abuse for the majority of my life, and because I used it to numb my pain, it just got worse and worse. And it became a cycle for me of always drinking to just get over the pain. And I actually became a substance abuse counselor to try to prevent others and help them through the same problems I faced.
I think that substance abuse can take many different forms. For me, that was eating and internet addiction. And I think the reason I eat isn't because I have to eat, but it's more just to do something, to kind of feel something, because without knowing my culture and without knowing my identity, I guess I always usually feel lost.
The kids I teach, their own parents have suffered substance abuse, and then that affects kids. And so then the kids grow up thinking that the substance abuse is normal, so then they pick it up. So again, it's a cycle, and they're just trying to escape their lives, but because they don't have healthy ways to cope with it. So I think that it is really it's an epidemic, but I don't think anyone wants or has a way to cure it.
I think substance abuse was definitely an issue in my family. My brothers and I were born heroin babies because my mom never stopped using even when we were in her bellies. And I think in a way that affected our brains because I often feel stupid, especially when I see that stupid glazed over stare in the mirror. And in a way, it also kept our real grandma away from us because she's struggling with her own substance abuse addiction.
Alcoholics Anonymous leader, but before that, I used to be an alcoholic, and I think that was from my dad, always abusing me and my brother, and I used alcohol to numb the pain. And I feel with alcohol, that's what led me to having my first child, because I never controlled myself and never saw the action that the outcome would become.
The stereotype of the absent father is true for indigenous Americans.
Growing up, I always wondered wondered why my father left me. I remember when I was young, I used to look in the sky and close my eyes and imagine him right next to me. My dad being absent in my life hasn't just affected me from a family aspect, but also a cultural one. Every night in grade school, I used to Google on the computers all sorts of tribes I might be a part of. My dad not being there for me growing up has left a hole in me, like one I am without my blood's history.
So I have a couple kids and their own father left me, so they grew up fatherless. So I have to provide like both the parental roles. And like even though like I think the absent father stereotype is true for Native Americans, my kids grew up on the reservation, so they did have fatherly influences, but it wasn't from their own biological father.
I just found out that I had 2 kids. One of them name is Edwin. I'm going to meet him in the big ultimate powwow. I didn't know that I had 2 kids, but when I did, I just wanted to like gain back what he didn't have as a father when he was a kid, and have that father-son relationship.
The absent father definitely applies to me, not just with my father, but also with my mother and grandmother. My father was never in the picture, and my mom was always emotionally and mentally absent even before she committed suicide. She never stopped using, so my brothers and I got pretty used to taking care of ourselves before Opal adopted us. And I also never met my real grandma, Jackie Redfeather.
I think the stereotype is definitely true for me. My father was never there, my sister's father was never there, and that was really hard. And then when we were on Alcatraz, I got raped, and I ended up having a baby because of that. And that father was never there, and it just seems like it's been a reoccurring event in my life and a lot of the lives of the people I know.
Okay, so I do believe the absent father stereotype is true because like it's kind of like the cycle of abuse, sort of. So like if my own child didn't grow up with a father, he's less likely that he's going to be there for his own kids. So I just think the cycle continues and repeats itself.
Native on native violence greatly affects me.
I got shot at the powwow, so I was like really excited to do my powwow dancing and like dance as if time didn't matter and like I could fly. But then all of a sudden there were like booms just ringing through the air, and I went down while looking for my brothers. And the last thing I remember is just trying to keep breathing. And I just remember wondering like, why would they do this? Like, what did they think they would get from it?
I was also shot at the powwow. The bullet hit me straight in the stomach. And I remember right when it hit me, I was wondering, like, why would something like that happen? Like, who would do such a thing for a powwow that's supposed to be celebrating Native culture?
I think Native American violence is amplified by the U.S. government because they try to pin us against each other. And like my own child was shot by a Native American just because like the government used them to like try and protect us, but in turn they aren't really protecting us. They're amplifying.
The American people can change their perception of indigenous peoples. If you disagree, please explain why.
For me, I think the American perception can only change if the government changes its own perception on Native Americans, which I think is never going to happen based on all the history that has repeated itself over and over. I think